Good morning from Seed Adventures. This is Carolina. I'm just hopping on here to go through this island hopping itinerary with you. Galapagos can be done in so many different ways between cruises and hotels and glamping and day yachts that sometimes it gets really overwhelming. So I wanted to go through this itinerary with you day by day, kind of explain how everything will work, the logistics, and what you could change, how we can tweak it to make sure it fits your family. So I'm going to share my screen and take a few minutes of your time so we can go through this together. So your particular trip is set for next year, 2025. Please know you can choose any dates of the year. We organize private tours. All of the team that will be included on this itinerary is available any day. So the trip is based on 2025 rates, which are guaranteed for you, and it is based on a family of 3, 2 adults and a child. So let's go through it. Day 1, you're going to arrive in Quito. It's the main airport in Ecuador. It's a really wonderful place, and we're going to have you picked up from the airport, drive about 40 minutes into town and stay at Plaza Grande, which is right in the middle of the main squares in the old town. It's a great location, great views, and perfect for exploring if you want to do that on your own just a little bit. I know you mentioned you want to focus on outdoors and nature, so I didn't include a city tour, but just by staying in this hotel, you will kind of get a good feel for Quito, for its energy. It's a wonderful place. I've once stayed there for 3 months, so I know. Day 2, we're going to pick you up and show you a little bit of life in the Andes outside of the city and have some fun in the outdoors in the Cotopaxi National Park. So we're going to go down the Avenue of the Volcanoes. It's between 2 and 3 hour drive. It seems long, but we're going to stop. There are villages on the way. There are markets. It's really beautiful nature-wise. And then once we arrive, the park is filled with little haciendas, which are like local working ranches, and they have horses, and obviously the farmers are here. So it's a great place to unwind, have a traditional Ecuadorian lunch, and then we have an opportunity for hiking to the lagoons on the lava rock. We can go horseback riding. All of it is included. You let us know what your family is comfortable with. We provide ponchos, and it's a lot of fun. There's lots of llamas and alpacas in this area, so I'm sure your child will enjoy it as well. I have taken my daughters, I have 2 daughters, to Ecuador many times. I have been to Ecuador 7 times myself. And so we always enjoy this part of the country because you really get a sense of life in the Andes here. And then we'll take you back to the hotel in Quito so that you're not changing properties left and right. Here's an idea. If you really don't want to stay in the city, when you arrive in Quito, we can actually drive you all the way to Cotopaxi and we can stay on a ranch. There's beautiful hotels. It's like a farm, like a bed and breakfast style accommodations. It feels like being at grandma's house if you stay here. So we can actually stay here for 2 nights and avoid the city altogether. It's your trip. Let's make sure it fits your needs. And then day 3, we're off to the Galapagos. So I know there's so many different opportunities in the Galapagos. We work with about 30 boats. I have been on many different boats. I can discuss those with you. A large 100-person ship, a 16-person catamaran, a 20-person luxury yacht that has 2 guides on board instead of 1, so that the groups are the smallest. So lots and lots of options if you're thinking about a boat. When traveling with a child and needing to have a cabin that allows 3 people on a boat, that limits you down to a fraction of the boats because most will only allow 2 people in a cabin. So if you want a boat, let me know. I have a few in my back pocket that allow families of 3 to share a cabin, and we can go that route. But on the last time that I went to the Galapagos with my children, we did island hopping. And this means staying in a hotel on the island, but doing excursions, going kayaking, going on day yachts to visit other islands, but not sleeping on the boat, having that flexibility to wake up in the morning or go see sunrise on the beach, or at night walk around the little village and go out for pizza if that's what your kids want, instead of eating on the boat with 16 other people all the time. So this is why I created this option for you. So let me go through it with you. So we're going to pick you up from your hotel in Quito and drive you to the airport. Usually these flights are quite early. And then we're going to include the entry tickets. We're going to include the ID cards. We have a Galapagos a person in the airport that will help you through all the logistics, because you have to go through customs and check your bags and check your shoes before you get on the flight. It's a highly protected area. You know, Galapagos is like no place anywhere else in the world. So we make sure we don't bring any seeds or fruit or insects to the islands that can harm the animals there. And that's why all that hoopla at the airport. Once you fly into the islands, it's a 2.5 hour flight included. We pick you up, and now my Galapagos team will take care of you for the duration of the trip. So private guide with a sign with your name on it will pick you up, and we will go right into the highlands, which is a place where the giant tortoises roam. So there's plantations here. You will learn all about the turtles. You will see them everywhere. You will have a beautiful lunch here in the cloud forest. That's what I call it, because it's very green, very lush, very different than the coastline where the village is. And then we will make our way down. I mean, you can see the caves, you can go to the crater of the volcano, you know, some hiking, up to you. It's a private tour for your family with our guide. Of course, he will have some ideas for you of what to do that day. And then we will go into town. And I chose the Galapagos Blue Hotel. I've stayed here actually myself. What a fun property. What a fun location. You could walk everywhere to the market, where in the morning it's a lot of fun because the big pelicans will come down and try to steal the fish from the fishermen in the morning. And then there's sea lions laying out all over here. And actually Blue Hotel has one of the best restaurants in the village. So lots of fun here. Great spacious room. So you will have a king bed, and your child will have a twin type of bed arranged for them. So very comfortable in this family room. And then you can rest and enjoy. Now, day 4, we're going to go out on our first expedition. So we're going to go to other islands that don't have villages, don't have hotels, on a yacht. It's a 16-person yacht, really beautiful. Lunch is served on board. You can sunbathe on it. There'll be time to go snorkeling. All the gear is included. And you will visit at least one island, sometimes 2 if the sites are close together. One of them is Bartolomew Island. I always suggest going here if it's possible, because that's where a penguin colony is. That's where there's a lot of fun opportunities to go hiking. This is Bartolomew. So over here in this cove, we go snorkeling. There's a colony of penguins, so sometimes you see them swimming in the water. You also hike these catwalks to the top. It feels like Mars. Really wonderful. Now, about Galapagos, every island is different. Every site on every island is different. There are white beaches, black beaches, red beaches. There's different colonies on different islands. And the number one thing to keep in mind when you're planning Galapagos is be flexible, because this is such a highly protected area by the government of Ecuador that if they see a change in behavior in animals, or if the bird flu is affecting them, which is happening right now, some sites are closed, and then we'll go to other sites. Or we will only go by boat and see the bird life, the sea lions, the animals from the boat, from the water. We can still snorkel and swim, but we won't step on the beach because we know that the animals are affected, or we're trying not to affect them if we have visited. So anyway, it's very well organized. The logistics are handled behind the scenes by us, but I just want you to know that the Galapagos is just a thriving environment and very fragile environment. So things change sometimes. And this especially affects cruises, not so much us, because we can always tweak things as we go. So on this trip, on this day yacht trip, you will be with 16 people, 1 guide and the crew. You will have all the excursions included, the beautiful lunch included. You will be able to snorkel, swim. There's always opportunities to go hiking. So a really great excursion. And then you come back in the evening, back to the village, back to your hotel. And the next day, instead of going out on a boat again, which with a child, it can get tiring. So I always try to break it up. One day on a boat, one day not on a boat. So the next day we will focus on Tortuga Bay and Academy Bay. So this is all about beaches, iguanas, swimming, snorkeling, and kayaking. So you will have a great opportunity to go hiking, kayaking. You can have a family kayak where your child kayaks with you. Of course, this is guided. A local private guide joins with you, and then you have a nice lunch in a restaurant, and then afternoon back to the hotel after all your excursions. Really wonderful day. Day 6, we're going back out on the boat, back to visit other islands. So maybe now we will go to Santa Fe and Plazas, where you will see lots of bird life, lots of colors, blue-footed boobies. Sometimes they're nesting, sometimes they're raising babies, sometimes the babies are leaving the nest. So there's always something happening different throughout the year. There is truly no bad time to go to the Galapagos, but let me tell you about the seasons here. There is because it's on the equator, it's very similar all year long. The only thing that changes is the temperature of the water. So if you want warm, balmy water where you can snorkel with no wetsuits, then December, January, February, March, those are like top months for warm waters. Once the summer starts, cold fronts in the waters come down through this area, and especially July, August, September, the water gets colder. So we provide wetsuits for our snorkeling and our any water activities if you want. I personally go into the water even if it's 72 degrees. It's no problem because the sun is strong. You're in the equator. You still need lots of sunscreen and protection, but the water is really refreshing. So keep that in mind. If you want warm water, you want to go into like that winter, spring season. And if you can only travel in the summer, no worries because everything is available. We will just provide wetsuits as needed. So another full day, lunch on board, excursions, going in the water, going on hikes, seeing lots of wildlife. I mean, we're talking iguanas, marine turtles, lots of bird life. I can't name them all, sea lions, and of course, penguins sometimes. It's not a zoo, so nothing is guaranteed, but it's such an abundance of wildlife that I've never had a bad excursion in the Galapagos. This is one of those giants again. And then day 7, like I said, we switch things around, a few days on the boat, a few days not on a boat. So today we're going to focus on 2 areas, the Charles Darwin Station, which is really famous. It is a true place for education about the giant tortoises, about Galapagos, about evolution, which is on the island where you'll be staying. And then we're also going to go to Las Grietas. And Las Grietas is a really great place. So it's a short hike to here through beaches and pink salt farms, and then you get here and there's steps right into the water where you can go snorkeling amongst these groves of mountains. It's so beautiful, so refreshing, really popular. You will see other families here, local families here. So it's a really great place to enjoy. And of course, those beaches that we're passing as we're getting here with beautiful marsh flora growing out of the water and marine iguanas everywhere sunning themselves. It's a great day. So you can also go to the beach, not just snorkel here if you don't want to. And of course, lunch is included. Charles Darwin Research Center is arranged so you can enjoy it in there and then return back to the hotel. It is your last night. So now you've been in the Galapagos for 5 nights. And on day 8, we're going to take you back to the airport, fly you back to the mainland, and here you can choose, depending on your flight home. Ecuador has 2 international airports, Quito and Guayaquil. So if you find that a flight home from Guayaquil works best, let me know, and we will tweak it where we will fly you from the Galapagos to Quito. And that is the trip, 8 days based on a family of 3, 2 adults and a child under the age of 12, $59.99 per person. Some other ideas that I just popped into my head. If you love glamping or a little bit more adventure, we have a few lodges that are built into the plantation where the giant tortoises are. So if you want one night staying in like a safari style tent, we can incorporate that in there. And that is a fun place because literally, instead of, safari in Africa, this is a Galapagos safari. Will giant turtles roam right outside of your tent? Lots of fun for kids. Let me know your thoughts. I can, of course, tweak it in any way you'd like. Happy travels.